Hi guys, my name is Mil Patrick Aswero from Wealthy Patty. So in today's video guys, I'm going to share to you my application experience from these two companies, like how it's going to be, the entire process, if you're planning to apply in this industry, so you will have an idea, because I want to help you out too, alright? And I'm going to explain to you as well at the end of this video as to why I picked the other over the other, so make sure to stick at the end of the video. Okay guys, so before we start this whole thing about me applying for a job, by the way, I was able to pass in these two companies both at the same time, guys. Yes guys, you heard it right, two freaking companies at the same time. So you might be wondering which one did I choose, right? And why, which is more reasonable of choice. But before I tell you my experience about how the heck did happen, I gotta tell you something first. So I know a lot of you might probably asking like, why am I applying for a job? Like, yeah, Patrick, why are you applying for a job? We thought you're just gonna do business and focus on that. Well guys, the good news is we're still doing business and it's doing real good right now. And yes, it's true that I have been an advocate of business, so to speak, or entrepreneurship for quite some time now. Though of course, just like everyone else, our principle changes through the course of time. And instead of telling people like what they should be doing, like, oh, you should do this instead of that one, oh, that's a horrible decision, this is what you should be doing over that was before guys, but now I just respect free will. And if you've been a true follower of this channel, I always tell all my YouTube videos like, do the things that you want and don't give a damn. Do the things that you want to try and whatever makes you happy, regardless of what that is, regardless of what people has to say. Okay? And in regard to our business guys, so it's doing real good right now. And recently I have a lot of time in my hands, so you know, I'm the type of person always want to try new things and always wanted to have new experiences. And on top of that, I care so much about my growth. So I've been thinking lately, what else can I do to be productive aside from doing these YouTube videos? Or what else can I do to earn money so I could reinvest bigger in our business? So that's how I've come into a decision guys to try employment for maybe a couple of years. So I applied in a call center company or a BPO company. By the way guys, for those who does not know, you can apply in these call center companies even though you did not finish your college, or even if you're just a high school graduate, and even without any BPO work experience guys, because in my case I have no history of employment. I'm not a college graduate. I flunked out of school 2 years ago. But as long as you're confident and at least you can speak average English, then you will definitely pass. Okay, so I'm now gonna reveal to you the names of the companies which I have applied and both passed. So I applied both in Concentrix and Teleperformance guys. So I'm sure some of you are already familiar with this, right? So this is how the story goes. The company that I have applied first was in Concentrix. By the way guys, it was my first choice because, you know, I've done my little research as well, and it appears that it's one of the best. I mean, the benefits, the compensation, it's pretty fair, I would say. It's pretty decent compared to some professions out there. And more importantly guys, the quality of their training, it's really one of the things that I've taken into account because it's really what I am after for. So just so you know guys, I'm not just doing this for the sake of money. Like, one of the reasons why I applied in a call center company, because I know it would be a great place for improvement on my communication skills, my human relations, and improve my English fluency even more. So those are really the things which I find helpful in my growth. So back to what we're talking about guys, so I applied both in these companies, and the first call that came in first was from Concentrix. So back to what we're talking about guys, so I applied both in these companies, and the first call that came in first was from Concentrix. By the way guys, everything was done over the phone and virtually due to this pandemic. And as I pick up the phone, as I heard the other person talking on the other end of the line, I can really tell guys how good he is in English as we converse, and probably older employees too. That's what I thought it at that time. But the only thing that is not so favorable about my application experience from Concentrix guys is the entire application process took so long. and it's quite exhausting compared to teleperformance, which was done a lot quicker. And I think I could just understand somehow, because based from the assessments that I took from Concentrix, I can tell that what they want to have are really competitive people in their company. Though it's quite conducive at the same time, because as what I've said earlier, everything was done virtually and over the phone, so you didn't have to go to their site personally. And by the way guys, after you've applied or after you've been referred to their HR, because in my case guys, I've been referred by a friend who's already working in a company, so I just want to tell you guys that you won't get the call right away. Usually they're gonna call you after a week or on the second week already from the day your application was submitted. Because in my case guys, I got the call after a week and 3 days since the day I've been referred. Back to what has happened guys, so the call that came in first was from Concentrix. So by the way guys, the first call was just an initial call, so it's not yet the interview. So from the initial calls guys, they're just gonna ask you some information necessary for the entire application process, like if you own a Wi-Fi, if you have a laptop, or about your age and your email, because they're gonna be needing all of that for the entire assessment. But I still suggest that even if it's not yet the interview guys, you should give them already the good impression. Alright, I think you should still speak in English only. And I do really think that it's one of the primary bases whether or not they're gonna let you proceed to the next step of the application. So after the 2 initial calls guys, you're gonna be taking the first assessment, that is the SVAR exam, which gonna test your English proficiency or English knowledge in general. So the assessment goes around within that purview. And after you pass the first assessment, you're gonna take another assessment, which is the Version exam. The Version exam guys is the quite challenging one, because you really have to have knowledge in regards with the job you're applying for. But in this video guys, I'm not gonna be telling you what are the questions that I get asked from the interviewers and what are the tests are all about, because it's gonna take us too long if we're gonna cover all of that in this video. However, I'm gonna make another video for that one, so next time I'm gonna give you all the possible questions in an interview, and the questions that I get asked personally, I'll try to remember it all, and I'm gonna give you my personal tips as well on how to answer those questions. Okay, so back to what we're talking about. And after passing the Version exam guys, I was scheduled again for the account validation interview. So that's exactly the reason why I said the entire process from Concentrix took so long, because there were many assessments, and on top of that, the time interval with those assessments and interviews was 2 to 4 days apart. In some cases, it took them a week. So yeah, personally, I think it would have been an amazing experience if the assessments were conducted in consecutive days. So to sum up guys, my entire application from Concentrix almost took a month. I don't know in some other cases, but nonetheless, it was still a favorable experience somehow. And that's where the problem took place guys, because I'm already finished with the final interview from Concentrix, and it says they're just gonna give me an update soon as possible, because on the same day guys, I got a call from Teleperformance. So I was really confused that time, because Concentrix didn't give me an update about the results yet from the final interview, and on the same day the call from Teleperformance came. And here's the thing guys, I still took the call even though I was already just waiting for the results from Concentrix. And the entire application process took real quick. That's what I've said earlier, right? After passing the initial interview, I was again scheduled quickly for the final interview. And on the second day, guys, I already got the job offer. And I was already told to visit to their site, which is in IT Park, for the job offer. So technically, guys, I was supposed to get hired in Teleperformance already. But I didn't show up on that day because, you know, I was still waiting for the results from Concentrix, although I was already certain that I would pass. Not to brag guys, but I was already confident about the result, so I just waited, and on the second day I got a message from Concentrix informing me that I passed. So that was it, guys. Personally, I chose CNX because it has a better deal according from sources, and I was also referred by a friend, so it would have been rude of me if I didn't continue and ended up in a different company, right? Just a little bit disclaimer, guys, before we end this video. I'm not claiming that one company is better than the other because obviously I haven't tried working in both, so personally I couldn't really tell. However, according from sources, CNX has a lot of advantages. Not only it pays decently, but in some areas as well. So yeah, that pretty much everything, guys. So if I manage to pass in a BPO company, I'm sure you can too. I mean, it's not that I have a lot of advantages. In fact, just what I've said earlier, I'm an undergraduate, I have no employment history, which is an advantage if you have, especially if it's a customer related job. So there's no reason for you not to pass as well. As long as you're doing everything prior to your application, like improving your English, listing down all the possible questions, practicing them a lot, and of course, you should do your own research too. So that's it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.